I need you to meet Alex, a well-intentioned human stick figure whose relationship with the snooze button is complicated, romantic, and occasionally tragic. He treats Snooze like a warm, whispering duvet that tells him his destiny is to nap forever. I watch him battle the alarm every morning, and I promise you this episode will teach him, and you, how to stop treating mornings like an optional DLC. Spoiler, Alex will be teased, I will be amused, and you will leave with actionable tools to quietly rewire your morning identity. Let me explain. A morning identity reset isn't about willpower theater or dramatic kettlebell vows. It's about tiny evidence building, the kind that convinces your brain, I am the sort of person who gets up. I like to think of it as gently convincing your brain with receipts, micro behaviors that stack until your identity flips the script. Alex will be my guinea pig for this elegant, low-drama revolution, and yes, he will spill water at least once while proving a point. Lists are great, but identity is the long game when your brain thinks you belong to a squad. Early riser, productive person. It starts nudging behavior to match that label automatically. I'll walk you through how to shift from I should do this to I am the type of person who does this. And Alex will provide live examples of both heroic and hilariously unheroic versions. Trust me, the difference between a label and a core is what keeps you out of pajamas by noon. We will build a scaffold, cues, scripts, and micro-routines. 3 tiny pillars that quietly remodel your morning identity without drama or a motivational bootcamp montage. I'll show you exactly how to set the cues, craft the scripts, and chain 2-minute rituals into something steady and unbreakable. Alex will attempt one, and hilarity may ensue, but growth will follow. Stick with me and a modest cup of self-compassion, because tiny wins are cumulative and they're stubbornly effective. A cue is the spark that starts a habit. And no, it doesn't have to be dramatic. Light, sound, location, smell, or an object can all whisper, "Hey, it's time." I teach Alex to notice cues and then design them to guide him toward the identity of an early, productive person rather than the identity of serial snoozer. Remember, the goal is to make the right thing the obvious thing, because obvious beats heroic every single time. Light is basically nature's coffee, but gentler and less judgmental. I show Alex how to prime his room with gradual light, smart bulbs, a sunrise lamp, or simply opening the curtains, so his brain gets the day memo before his eyelids file a rebellion. We talk about intensity, timing, and the difference between blindingly aggressive light and a gentle soap opera sunrise that coaxes you out of bed. Alex enjoys the concept, and gradual and briefly lives in a gloriously theatrical glow, but the cue still works. Choose an alarm that's a kind friend, not a medieval trumpet. I coach Alex on using progressive chimes or music cues aligned with his energy levels, so waking feels connected to an identity instead of a war. We'll pair sound with an action cue, for example, a gentle alarm that signals water and points toward a glass on the nightstand, which creates predictable, identity-confirming behavior. Of course, Alex initially selects a kazoo loop for reasons he calls experimental, and we gently veto that. Placement is lazy genius. Put the things you want to do close to where you are when the cue hits. Water, a tiny journal, or a pair of shoes. And put the temptations farther away, like your phone hiding under Do Not Disturb. I instruct Alex to stage his morning so the first move feels almost accidental. A deliberate accident that builds identity in his brain's accounting ledger. He then hides his phone under the sofa, claims it's strategic, and I allow the performance. Mantras are fine, but scripts are better because they're scripts you perform for your brain. Specific sentences that cue action through meaning, not magic. I give Alex a handful of tight, action-focused lines he can say the moment he wakes, like first thing, water. Next, stand. I'm an early starter, which sounds ridiculous, until your brain files it under true. Together we'll refine these phrases so they feel believable and not like motivational fortune cookies. Here's my favorite, a compact 15-second identity script you say out loud in bed while you reach for your water. I am an early starter. I hydrate. I move, which primes your brain and gives it an immediate, doable assignment. I coach Alex through this line by line, and he performs it with theatrical sincerity like it's a Broadway call-and response, which is adorable and oddly effective. The trick is repeating consistent language so your brain starts to accept it as fact rather than a New Year's resolution. Implementation intentions. The if-then scripts are the steering wheel for your morning. If the alarm rings, then I sit up and say my script converts a fuzzy desire into an automatic response. I make Alex rehearse a few of these until they feel ridiculous to say aloud, because weirdness equals memorability and memorability equals consistency. He practices once and then insists on shaking hands with his alarm clock, which I accept as a confidence-building ritual. The power comes when scripts are stacked with tiny actions. Say the script, then drink water, then stand, then stretch for 60 seconds, because you turn words into immediate evidence for your identity. I coach Alex to chain the moves, and he gamifies it by imagining each micro-routine as a collectible sticker in his brain's "I Behave This Way" album. He takes the stickers very seriously. I treat the stickers with appropriate reverence and a smirk. The 2-minute rule is your ally. Start with something so small you can't talk yourself out of it. 2 minutes of standing, 2 minutes of journaling, or packing one thing for the day, and let it expand from there. I watch Alex do a 120-second stretch that somehow includes interpretive dance, proving that 2 minutes can be both ridiculous and transformational. The point is momentum. 2 minutes makes your brain file, "I did that," and builds proof toward the identity you want. Hydrating first is literal and symbolic. Water wakes the body and signals, "I'm awake," and I pair it with one small movement to link hydration to action in Alex's brain. We'll set the sequence: alarm, script, water, stand, 60-second movement, which becomes a predictable ritual that proves identity every morning. Alex performs this sequence like a ritualistic wizard, complete with a solemn bow toward the water glass. I take notes and applaud quietly. Journaling doesn't have to be a treatise. 3 lines are enough. What I'm grateful for, one priority, one tiny win I'd like today, and saying it cements direction rather than spinning your wheels. I teach Alex to write this on a postcard-sized card that he can do while the kettle warms, and he insists on calligraphy that looks suspiciously like scrawl. It's effective because it creates clarity and gives your early identity a tiny mission to complete. A brisk face splash, teeth, and a quick tidy of the bed are deceptively powerful. They change how you experience yourself in minutes and provide visible proof of being together. I push Alex to make these mundane moves part of his script so that even on foggy mornings, he gets the identity-confirming evidence he needs. He approaches the sink with military focus and emerges triumphant, slightly damp, smelling faintly of mint and victory. Sleep inertia is biology, not a moral failing, so the first step is compassion and then strategy. Your brain literally wants a soft landing into wakefulness. I explain why the first 20 to 30 minutes are the trickiest and how cues plus scripts soften that slope, while Alex practices being kind to himself when he faceplants into the duvet. We give him a helmet of strategy and a cape of self-forgiveness, both of which look ridiculous but work. The first physical move doesn't have to be heroic, stand, wiggle toes, or take a single step, but it must come before rumination to capture momentum before the mind can argue. I make Alex promise to move his body within 30 seconds of the script and watch him perform the one-step ceremony with theatrical pacing that would make a slow-motion commercial proud. Momentum is a sneaky friend. Once you move, your brain looks for reasons to keep moving, and identity starts writing receipts. If you want your phone to be less seductive, make it inconvenient. Put it in another room or under a closed cupboard. And if you want coffee, put the mug where you'll see it only after your 2-minute win. I coach Alex to engineer friction for pitfalls and remove friction for wins, which he takes literally and hides his phone in the neighbor's mailbox before remembering that's a bad neighborly boundary. The point stands: design your environment like a kind but firm coach. Daily accountability can be as simple as sending a one-line text to a friend or a recurring check-in in a tiny streak app. It doesn't have to feel like a tribunal. I help Alex set up a lightweight accountability system where he announces one micro-win and sometimes receives celebratory emoji responses, which surprisingly fuels consistency. He delights in the emoji party, and I pretend to be unaffected, but the happiness is palpable and useful. We celebrate evidence over perfection, track the number of mornings you completed your micro-routine rather than punishing the occasional flop, because identity is built by patterns, not single episodes. I show Alex how to collect proof in a simple log or app, and he insists on drawing tiny stars that look suspiciously like potatoes, but the brain doesn't judge art, it judges repetition. Over weeks, you'll accumulate a deposit of identity that pays consistent returns. Once 2-minute wins become effortless, you can incrementally expand the routine. Add a 5-minute focus task, 10 minutes of reading, or a short walk, but only increase when consistency feels stable. I coach Alex through a slow progression where each new step is small and optional until it's not, and he celebrates each expansion like adding a quirky badge to his outfit. The secret is patience. Identity doesn't do giant leaps, it accrues many tiny deposits. If you're going to be human, design for it. Automate, prepare, and reduce choices so laziness doesn't hijack your best intentions. Meal prep, outfit choices, and an always-ready tiny routine are your friends. I narrate as Alex experiments with a morning box, shoes, glasses, a note that reduces decision fatigue to 0 and increases the probability of showing up. It's not cheating, it's strategy with snacks. Some mornings will be messy, and that's when community matters. A friend text, a quick check-in, or a coach can re-anchor you without drama. I encourage Alex to have one go-to cheer squad and one pragmatic accountability buddy, and he recruits an actual friend who responds with gifts and practical tips, which apparently is the dream combo. Keep the systems, keep the people, and most importantly, keep the tiny actions that accumulate evidentiary identity. Here's your roadmap. Days 1 and 7, anchor with a 15-second script and a 2-minute win. Days 8-14, lock in sequence and add micro-journal. Days 15 to 21, reduce friction and refine cues. Days 22-30, expand a tiny bit and celebrate consistency. I narrate this plan to Alex like it's a treasure map, and he nods solemnly as if the X is a donut at the end, which it's not, but the ritual of celebration is important nonetheless. Commit to small proof, and the identity shift will follow quietly.